Here you are. The semester is coming to a close. Some of you I was talking to have actually already graduated. Good for you. But for many of you, you're in the thick of it right now. And so we're hoping that this weekend can be a little bit of a reprieve for you, an opportunity to be renewed and refreshed so you can go back and finish what you've started. And our theme is life after school. We hope that what we talk about here not only applies to going back to the schools that you're coming from, but something that you can take with you after school as well. So I'm happy to be here. This is a special place for my wife and I. In fact, we were talking about it when we were here earlier today. The first time I saw my wife was right here in this room. Yeah, right here. Not this room because it didn't exist yet, but that room over there. First time I saw her, we both worked here as staff members at Cohutta Springs Youth Camp, and we came for a CPR training class. And we met over there. I remember I was sitting right over there in that corner, and I saw her. She was wearing a brown shirt. She looked so pretty. I mean, it was incredible. My wife has that kind of beauty. I'd never seen anything quite like it before, where she's so beautiful, it's like the beauty spills out of her, and it makes stuff around her beautiful. I mean, it's amazing. And so I saw this girl, and I said, I have got to get to know her. And so we did. We got to know each other that summer, and we started dating. It's amazing what can happen in a place like this. Who knows? It could happen to you this weekend. I'm just saying. I don't know. Who knows what could happen? But not only was this building right here, walking down memory lane, not only is this where we met and I saw her for the first time, this is also where we got back together one of the times. You guys know how dating works sometimes. We started dating and then we broke up about a year later, and then we started talking and we kind of got back together, and then we kind of broke up again. And, one of those really obnoxious types of relationships for a little while. After 2 years of that, though, it was done, okay? So we were done with the whole dating thing, and we said, okay, look, you can go your way, I'm going to go my way, and we were okay with that. But it was a little bit awkward because both of our ways brought us back to working at the same summer camp again. And so we kind of had to deal with that, but we were pretty platonic. And it was kind of interesting because we didn't really talk to each other very much. We just enjoyed what we were doing here, the ministry we were doing, and it was cool that she could do it over there and I could do it over here, and it was totally fine until one day something happened right here in this building. Kind of an unusual thing, and I will say she's not here tonight, but I got her permission to tell this story. The toilet overflowed in the girls' bathroom. Okay, I'm just going to say that's what happened, and really badly. And so there were a bunch of campers here, and something had to be done. And so someone called me on the radio, and they said, hey, that needs to be fixed. And I said, great, I will find someone else to fix it. And so I was thinking, who would be good at cleaning up this mess? I thought, this is kind of a bad mess, and it's not very beautiful in there. And I wonder if someone has beauty that could maybe spill. Oh, yes. My ex-girlfriend, Christina. She's really pretty. I think she could bring some beauty into the situation. And so I thought, okay, this is going to be good. I said, hey, Christina, I know you're watching some campers or whatever. We'll find someone else to do that. Can you come, and I actually need you to unclog the toilet and fix it, because it's it wasn't just clogged, it was like, and so I said, can you come fix that? And she said, are you serious? And I said, yes. Yes, I am. Not only am I serious, but I'd like you to come do it right now. And so she said, okay. Now, just so you understand where I'm coming from, totally non-sour feelings going on here. I just thought, look. That's what she said too, but I said, look, you're in college now, and it's time for you to learn how to unclog a toilet. Right? I said, look, I could unclog it for you, but that's the whole, I'm going to give you a fish thing and you can eat one meal, but if I teach you, yeah, it didn't work. And she didn't buy it. She was pretty unimpressed with my whole spiel about why she should be doing this. So I said, okay, it may not be a fun thing, but maybe we can make it a little bit more fun. I said, wait right here, and I ran out, and I came back up, and I had a snorkeling mask for her, and a snorkel, and a little floaty, just in case things got intense in there. But she didn't think it was funny, and she was not impressed. So, all right, well, either way, we're going to go do this. We got some 5-gallon buckets, put our feet in them, and sloshed our way into that bathroom right over there. I said, okay, I want you to go into the offending stall right there, that problem one. And I'm going to go into the adjacent one and stand up there, and I say, I'm going to coach you through what we need to do to fix this situation. And so she was really trying to be professional about this, which was very admirable. She said, okay, what do I do? And I said, okay, well, here's what needs to happen. The first thing you need to do is we need to stop the water flow because there's water all over the place. So she said, okay, so how do you do that? I said, well, it's actually really easy. There's just a lever that needs to be pulled. And you can find that lever if you just reach your hand down where the stuff goes when you flush the toilet. If you reach really far down there, there's this secret switch. And that's step one. And she said, are you serious? I said, yes. Very serious. And I said, here's a little glove for you to wear, and that should help. It came to about right here on her hand, and she didn't think it was funny, and she wasn't impressed. But she was a good sport. And the reason I tell this story, I don't know exactly when it happened, but something changed. Something pretty magical happened. I don't know when it happened. I don't know if it's when she first put her hand into the swirling waters and dove down. I don't know if it was then. I'm not sure if it was when she realized that there is no secret switch down there and that she had been played. I don't know if it was when she started beating me with the plunger after she realized that it was a joke, but something happened. Later that afternoon, after she had taken a shower and screamed at me a lot and ran out, she was talking to her best friend, but she realized as she was telling the story that she couldn't stop smiling because she did find it funny and she was impressed, at least a little bit. She had realized that there was still something there between us. And I share this story to say that magical things can happen. Beauty can come from the most unlikeliest of places. We're married now, and it all worked out. That was a turning point for us that took place right here. And so I tell all the eligible young men in here, you're welcome to use that move if you'd like to. Ladies, I'm not sure if it works the other direction, but it probably does, so you should try it. So we're trying to get a book deal with Nicholas Sparks to see if he could turn that into a romance movie, but he said he already made a book called Hope Floats, and it's basically the same storyline, so it's not working too much. But the reason I share this with you is because this weekend we're talking about life after school, and specifically we've been asked to share what happens when things go unexpectedly. What happens when you plan things one way and it doesn't turn out like that? How do you move forward? How do you handle that? And so my testimony of life after school is illustrated by that story. Sometimes beauty can come from the most unexpected places. Would you bow your heads with me, and I want to tell you why. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, please send your Spirit to be with us as we talk about life after school, as we talk about beauty and brokenness, and we talk about your faithfulness to us. In your name, Jesus, amen. So about 2 years after this incident in here, I had reached the promised land. It was a pretty good deal. I had made it to graduation. I walked down the aisle, and it was sweet. How many of you guys still have yet to graduate? Okay, most. It's a good deal. It didn't matter to me that my 4-year degree had taken 6 years. It didn't matter to me that the little cardboard cloth-covered thing that was supposed to have my diploma actually just had a bill in it, which were telling me to pay the bill. I was done. And I was super excited. Life was going to be really sweet. I was hired right after out of college to be a youth pastor, and it was something I was really excited about. My then girlfriend, Christina, and I, somehow she had stayed dating with me, and we talked openly about our future, and we wanted our future to be together. So we were really, really excited about this. Life was going really, really well. And this was good because I'm a planner. I like to plan things, and life was going just as I kind of planned it. I prayerfully made one of those 5-year plans. I don't know if you guys have ever done that. If you haven't, you can come to a seminar tomorrow and we can do it together. But someone had come, worked me through a 5-year plan, and I was starting to check stuff off this plan. And if you're a planner, it feels good. I really like to be prepared for anything. So I remember the first time my wife, she was leaving the oven on at night because she was going to make granola. I don't know if you guys have ever made homemade granola, but I was really stressed out about the concept of leaving the oven on at night, and so I was going around and getting huge pots full of water and putting them all over the house just in case it started fire. Because I want to be prepared for anything. I love to plan. And so life was going just as planned, but then things started to change. Just a few weeks before I started my job, I went on a simple hike with some friends up by Cleveland, Tennessee, not too far away from here. And I was walking across this simple stream, walked across it once, and then I thought, oh, man, my little niece is here. I'm going to go back and carry her. So I walked across the second time, picked her up, walked a few steps, and I slipped, and I fell hard. Now, the good news is my niece was totally okay. Totally okay. I caught a gasp, and I was like, oh no, she's fine. So she was totally fine, but I landed on a rock, and it smashed my back really bad. And so I didn't know what was going on, but I couldn't move for about half an hour. Something was really, really wrong. And so over the next few months, after going to numerous doctor's appointments and having x-rays and MRIs done, they finally realized what had happened. I had smashed 2 of the discs in my back, and they were slicing into my nerve endings or pushing into them in my spine, and it was causing insane pain. I mean, it was so painful. To just sit down for longer than 2 minutes was excruciating. So that meant driving was like the worst thing that had ever happened. I didn't realize how bad my pain was. I knew it hurt really bad, but to give some context to it, shortly after that, I broke my finger. I usually don't have a lot of injuries, but I broke my finger, and I had to take that broken finger, because I tried, and twist it really hard to make it equal the pain that I always felt constantly in my back. So I had to grab it and twist it. It was just intense pain that was always going on. And any of you guys, if you've suffered from chronic pain, it's not just the pain that's bad, but it just sucks the energy out of you. You don't even realize it, but it's like your body is trying to work with that pain, so it takes your reserved energy. And so I was just tired all the time. And it was just a really hard time in life. I talked to the doctors, and the surgeons were saying, look, you need to have surgery on your back. And I said, man, I'm in my early 20s. I don't want to have a back surgery. That's really intense. And so I thought maybe I can just live with this pain for a little while. But like I said, it was hard because when you have that chronic pain, it makes it harder to deal with other things that happen unexpectedly, which is why I had a really hard time dealing with a phone call I got from my then girlfriend, Christina, who called me one evening. She was 3 hours south of where I was pastoring at, and she called and she said, hey, I've been having blurry vision, and I've kind of been having a hard time to stand. She said, it turns out I have multiple sclerosis. I was like, what? I didn't know what that is, but multiple sclerosis or MS, it's a disease that attacks your brain. And so it's an incurable disease, and what it does is there's platelets that hit your brain, and since it attacks your brain controls everything in your body. And so it's this mystery disease where one day you can be fine, and the next day you can be in a wheelchair, or the next day you can be blind, or the next day you may not remember anyone. And so it's like this incredibly unsettling thing that happened, and we didn't know anything about this. One day she was a normal college student, and the next day she was someone with multiple sclerosis. And it was just this heavy feeling. What in this world, what did this mean for her, for us? Well, I hung up the phone and got in the car and drove down there the 3 hours immediately. Normally that trip would have killed my back, but my heart was so heavy for this girl that I love so much that I didn't even notice it. I got down to her place, and I remember we sat there, and we didn't have a lot to say that night. We just watched the sunset. It was gorgeous, and I remember being so angry that there could be such a pretty sunset when we were going through so much pain. We didn't know what to do. I mean, when you're in moments like that, you want to say that love will carry you through something like that. But we honestly had to sit down and decide, what does our future look like together? It was really heavy. She had to continue going to her courses, and I had to continue pastoring. But over the next few months, we really struggled with, what does this mean now for us? We wanted to have a family. We wanted to be missionaries serving off in a different country. And all these things seemed impossible to us at that point because you just don't know what's going to happen. We just didn't know what to expect. And so I remember us trying to sort through this, and it was just crazy trying to sort through it. She would come up and visit on Saturdays after I preached sometimes, and we would try to have conversations, but it was really stressful because as a youth pastor, I wanted to give the right impression and not have her over to my house because I didn't want to give wrong impressions. So we had to go to a public place to have private conversations, and if you've ever tried that, it doesn't work really well. We decided to go to a park, and I remember one conversation, it was really serious. She's like, okay, so how do you feel about dating a girl who has platelets on her brain? Kind of trying to be a little silly about it. And it was like this really serious conversation. I was like, well, I'll tell you how I feel. And then all of a sudden we'd hear, hey, Pastor Nate. We didn't realize that the entire church went to the same park on Sabbath afternoon. And so we were trying to decide what's our future together. And every 2 minutes someone was interrupting us. So it was really awkward trying to do this and work our way through a conversation you never want to have. But we had to honestly say, and I remember she asked me very pointedly, she said, I love you. She says, but if marrying me means that you're going to have to give up on all your dreams and you're going to be upset the rest of your life, that's not good for you and it's not good for me. And that was really heavy. It was really heavy for me to take some time and actually think, what does this mean for us? You want to say that you can go through with something like that, but it's hard to know. And so we waited and we prayed and we weren't sure what to do. And to top it all off, some of you guys may find, when I left my college environment, I moved to a small town. And it was so small that I felt really claustrophobic there. In fact, I found myself a few times driving over and just walking around in Walmart because it was the closest thing to home that I could find there. There was no one around. There were no friends, no one to connect with. So I was trying to process all of this stuff, and it was really heavy, trying to realize what does the future look like for us? How can we do this? I think at some point we all go through stages in life where the unexpected happens. The reality is that each of us could come up and share stories of the unexpected. Many of you have gone through the unexpected. Some of you are going through the unexpected right now. And when we go through the unexpected, we have lots of questions. How do I deal with this? Why is this happening to me? And God, where are you at in the midst of this? And so I spent a lot of time being a little bit angry, being a little bit sad, and a lot of time trying to pray and ask God, what in the world are we supposed to do? It was around this time that God led me to a story in Scripture that I just want to highlight this evening. It's a story that became really meaningful to me as I approached the concept of what it means to deal with the unexpected in life. It's a story that you can find in 1 Samuel chapter 14. It's the story of a man named Jonathan. We know this story. Jonathan was the son of King Saul. And Jonathan had a lot of good things set to go for him. He was set to be the next king of Israel, being the son of the current king. And as you read the story, you realize, man, he would have made an awesome king. This was a good guy. You read the story of Jonathan and you find out this guy was brave. This guy was respected by his men. This guy was wise. This guy, most importantly, followed God. But the unexpected happened to him as well. Because of the decisions that his father made, he lost the kingdom. No longer would he be king. That privilege went to his best friend David. So you can just imagine all of the emotions that Jonathan had to deal with. Why is this happening to me? I didn't do anything wrong. And yet, Jonathan's character is insane. And we look at a short story of it found in 1 Samuel chapter 14. I was reading through this, and Israel, God's people, they were being attacked by the Philistines. And in this time, instead of mobilizing God's people to go out and face them, King Saul was sitting underneath a tree. I'm not even really sure what that means, but it's in the Bible. He was just sitting there under a tree doing nothing. And so Jonathan, rather than being a victim of his circumstances, rather than being someone who said, look, I'm checking out of life, life's not fair, instead, he went up to one of his friends and he said, hey, you and me, let's go pick a fight. Just the two of us. Let's go do this. And so Jonathan grabbed his armor bearer, a friend, and he said, look, this is what we'll do. God can deliver by many or by a few. So you and I, let's go see if we can start something. And Jonathan went and he said, this is the battle plan. I'm going to read it from 1 Samuel chapter 14, verses 8 through 9. He said, behold, we're going to cross over to the enemy and reveal ourselves to them. If they say to us, wait until we come to you, then we will stand in our place and not go up to them. But if they say, come to us, then we will go up, for the Lord has given them into our hands, and this shall be the sign for us. So it's a bold plan. They were going to give away the elements of surprise. These two guys, they walked out and they waved at the enemy and said, hey guys, we're here. And the story goes on to tell us how the enemy saw them and they said, okay, you guys come up here and fight us. Now Jonathan and his friend were excited because that was the very sign that they had asked for, that they knew God was going to deliver the enemy. So they said, okay, we're going to do it. They climbed a mountain and just the two of them destroyed the enemy that was on the top of that hill. It's an amazing story, and I'm sure you've heard it before, but something I had missed from this story came out to me at the time when I was going through all of these different difficult and unexpected situations. We often talk about what happened with the story about this great faith, about how they said, okay, if they tell us to come up to fight them, then we'll go up, and that means that God's going to bless. But I had never caught before the importance that they were willing to fight no matter what. Their plan had two parts, if you remember. One part, the part we talk about, is they said, okay, if you call us up, that means that God's going to bless and we're going to win this thing. But if you catch again in verse 9, it also says this. He said, if they say to us, wait until we come to you, then we will stand in our place and not go up to them. What Jonathan was saying is this. He said, today, we're going to fight today. One way or another, no matter what the arena is, no matter what the circumstances are, today is a day to fight, to stand up for God. So we're going to fight whether we have God's assurance of victory or not. Whether they call us up or they have us stay here and we wait till they come to us, today we're going to fight. And I realize that this is a powerful thing because so many times in our lives, we want to stand up for God. And we want the best situation to work out in our lives. When we graduate, we would love to have our first choice of a job be landed on our plate. It would seem like God's blessing. We would love to move into our new career, and after working there for a week, we'd love to get Employee of the Month. That's what we want to happen. We'd love to have eligible young spouses come before us so that we could choose someone special. That's what we want to see. We want to see God working that way. But the reality is that oftentimes life is unexpected, and that's not how it works. And so I was so encouraged to see Jonathan's character saying, look, I can't always choose the circumstances that I'm in. I don't always know if this is going to be a victory, but what I do know is that right now I can stand up and believe in God, no matter what the circumstances are. So no matter what happens in our lives, we have that choice. And the story goes on. It's incredible. Not only did Jonathan's decision to stand no matter what the situation looked like, not only did it allow him to defeat that enemy, but God used that as an opportunity to defeat the entire Philistine army for them. Because Jonathan was faithful in standing up for God, God was faithful in standing up for him. And so I remember reading this and realizing, man, there are times in life that are unexpected, and there's not a lot we can do about it. But what we can do is choose to stand up for God. Choose to stand up for our faith. Choose to say, God, I don't understand what's happening, but I'm going to continue trusting you no matter what. And so maybe we send out our resumes to a bunch of people and we've gotten no phone calls. We could have the opportunity to say, God, I'm going to continue to trust you. Maybe we've been investing in a relationship and we're not sure where it's going, and we can say, God, I'm going to continue to trust you. No matter what it is, we have that choice. In my life, this is what it looked like. I made the decision to say, God, I want to trust you. I don't understand what's going on. I don't choose to be going through this pain, this hardship, all of these questions, but I want to choose to have faith in you. And it was a long process of trying to decide what to do in life. I knew that I loved Christina, so I was sure that I wanted to marry her. We were just trying to figure out how to make this work. But let me tell you how much God has blessed us. Christina and I made the decision to get married. And so we got married, and it was so beautiful for us. Those lines that they always say, for better or worse, for rich or poor, for sickness and in health. When they read that line, it was so special to both of us. And we've had an amazing relationship. God has blessed so much. It's been incredible. And not only has God blessed our marriage, but He's given my wife her dream of being a mom. And now she's able to be a mom to our little daughter, Ella. It's been incredible. And God has continued to step into our lives and show that He is very present. We don't understand why she has this diagnosis, but He has been faithful, and she has no health difficulties right now. It's amazing. And not only that, but a few years ago, we were finishing our grad degree, and we got a letter in the mail after being away for Christmas break for 2 weeks. And we checked our mail, and we got this letter, and we opened it up, and this letter said, Christina, you are no longer covered for your medication for multiple sclerosis. We're not going to cover it. Okay, that was intense, because her medicine cost $4,500 a month. A month. We don't make that kind of money. $4,500 a month. They said, it's on you now because we're not covering it. And we thought, okay. It was just one of those moments that was so big that we didn't even really know how to worry about it. It's just like, no, this just literally cannot be happening. And so we said, God, please, we want to continue to have faith in you. Please be strong for us. The very next day, her medicine company, the pharmaceutical rep, someone randomly called her. I've never heard of a pharmaceutical person calling a patient and saying, hey, how's the medicine going for you? That's exactly what happened. Someone randomly called her and said, how's it going? And she said, well, it's going really good, but my insurance is going to kick me off of this medicine. And they said, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. We'll fight them for you. We'll take it to court for you. And in the meantime, we'll ship you $4,000 medicine for free every month. It'll keep coming there. And it happened. I mean, this is absolutely insane. For 6 months, they randomly shipped us $4,500 medicine for free. All we had to do, we didn't even have to pick up a phone and call someone. They randomly just called us. And they literally went to court, and it all worked out. Our insurance now covers her medication. It's no problem at all. And her health is doing amazing. And things like this are so encouraging to us because we realize, look, yeah, she has this diagnosis, and we don't know what that means for our future. Each day we have to decide, to live it to the fullest because we don't know what tomorrow brings. But what we do know is that God continues to peek through and say, guys, I see you. I'm here for you. I've got your back. The unexpected might be happening, but I'm in the unexpected. There can be beauty from the most unexpected places. God continued to work. My back pain that I had, we were preparing to have surgery, but one more time we said, look, let's pray about this. I really don't want to have surgery. Within a few months, the pain just left. I mean, it went from discs, you can see the MRIs of just like almost splaying the spinal cord nerves, and it went from that. I don't know what it looks like today. I haven't bothered to go back because MRIs are really expensive, but whatever's going on down there, I can do whatever I want physically. It's really awesome. The pain just went away. God is so faithful. And so my testimony is this. There's going to be unexpected things in life, and like I said, each of you knows it. Each of you could tell stories, powerful stories. What I want to share with you is that when life unexpected happens, you can expect to see God show up. Amen. We don't always know how he will show up. We don't always know when he will show up. But remember that when we stand for God, he'll fight for us. Yes. And so as you prepare to go back to school and finish this semester, you might feel overwhelmed with all of the things that you have to do. You might be totally confused as to where you're going to go next. I want to encourage you to trust God, to realize that out of the most broken places, he can make something beautiful happen. Would you bow your heads with me? Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your love. And God, I thank you for being so faithful. Our testimony is that you have been infinitely more faithful to us than we have been to you. And Lord, I just want to ask that you prove yourself faithful to each and every person in this room. Lord, help us to hold on to you as we go through the storms of life. I want to ask a special blessing on each person here throughout this weekend, Lord. Revive our hearts, embolden us, give us courage. And Lord, continue to lead us into everlasting. We ask this in your name, Jesus. Amen.